Over the last few days, a brand new rumor has exploded across the internet, and Marvel fans cannot stop talking about it. According to several reports and insider discussions, Spider-Man Brand New Day could feature a surprise appearance from Doctor Doom. Now, before anyone rushes to treat this as confirmed information, let me make one thing clear right away. Marvel has not officially announced Doctor Doom for this film. But what makes this rumor so fascinating is not whether Doom appears for 10 minutes or 10 seconds, it is the timing. Marvel is entering a completely new phase of storytelling, and with Avengers Doomsday on the horizon, the studio needs to begin positioning its next major threat. That is exactly why this rumor has captured so much attention. If Doom truly shows up in Brand New Day, even briefly, then Spider-Man's next adventure may become far more important than a simple street-level story. It could quietly become the project that starts connecting the dots for the next giant MCU saga, and the implications of that possibility are honestly huge. What makes this situation even more interesting is the way Marvel traditionally handles major character introductions. The studio loves planting seeds long before the audience realizes how important those seeds are. We have seen mysterious teases evolve into universe-changing events before, and that history is exactly why fans are paying attention right now. The rumors suggest that Doctor Doom would not necessarily play a major role throughout the film. Instead, Marvel could use him in a short cameo, a final scene, or even a shocking post-credit reveal. From a storytelling perspective, that approach makes perfect sense. Spider-Man remains the emotional focus of Brand New Day, while Doom becomes the shadow looming over the future. It would allow Marvel to generate enormous excitement without distracting from Peter Parker's personal journey. More importantly, it would create the kind of speculation machine that Marvel thrives on. A single scene, a single line of dialogue, or even a single shot of Doom could dominate conversations for months and completely reshape expectations surrounding the future of the MCU. Now let us talk about the first possible scenario that fans are imagining. Picture the movie ending, the credits beginning to roll, and audiences settling into their seats for one final surprise. The post-credit scene opens inside a secret, highly advanced laboratory. Massive screens cover the walls, strange energy readings flash across monitors. Scientists rush between stations with growing panic on their faces. Something is wrong. The multiverse is becoming unstable. One scientist studies the data and nervously announces that the barriers separating universes are collapsing faster than expected. Suddenly, the room falls silent. The camera slowly turns toward a dark figure standing in the shadows. At first, we only see a green cloak, then metal gloves, then the unmistakable outline of a masked face. Dr. Doom finally steps into view. Without raising his voice, he calmly says that the universes should fall because every broken reality brings him closer to what he seeks. The screen instantly cuts to black. Then appears the title, Avengers Doomsday. If Marvel wants maximum impact with minimum screen time, this kind of reveal would be incredibly effective. But there is another possibility that may be even more intriguing because it directly connects Doom to Peter Parker. Imagine Spider-Man continuing his normal life after the events of the film. New York appears peaceful. Peter swings across the skyline, unaware that someone is watching. The camera shifts toward a distant rooftop where a mysterious figure stands motionless. We cannot immediately identify the person. There is no dramatic musical cue, no obvious announcement. The figure simply observes Spider-Man from afar. Then the camera slowly moves closer. Reflected inside a metallic mask, we see Peter moving through the city below. At that moment, the identity becomes clear. It is Doctor Doom. He studies Spider-Man with intense curiosity and quietly remarks that the boys survived events that destroyed entire worlds. That single line would instantly create countless questions. Why is Doom interested in Peter? What does he know about the multiverse? Has he been monitoring major MCU events all along? Most importantly, does Spider-Man possess knowledge, abilities, or significance that will become crucial in the coming conflict? Sometimes the most powerful Marvel teases are the ones that reveal almost nothing while simultaneously suggesting everything. Then we arrive at what many comic book fans consider the most accurate and exciting option of all, the Latveria reveal. For years, audiences have waited to see Doom's kingdom properly represented within the MCU. Now imagine a post-credit scene that finally opens the gates. The camera glides across a cold and imposing European landscape before arriving at a massive royal palace. Inside, advanced technology exists alongside ancient power and tradition. Deep within the structure sits Doctor Doom upon an imposing throne. In front of him floats a giant multiversal projection displaying countless realities. Entire universes appear as fragile points of light. An advisor enters the chamber and asks a simple question about the Avengers. Doom barely reacts. He looks at the map, smiles slightly, and answers that they still believe reality can be saved. The scene ends immediately. No battle, no action sequence, no elaborate exposition, just confidence, just authority. Just the feeling that someone far more dangerous than anyone realizes has already begun moving pieces across the board. For longtime comic readers, a moment like that would feel enormous because it captures exactly what makes Doom such a compelling villain. The reason these rumors have generated so much discussion comes down to one simple reality. Marvel needs a central force driving the next major chapter of the MCU. For years, conversations revolved around Kang and the multiverse. However, audiences also know that plans evolve. As Avengers Doomsday approaches, Doctor Doom increasingly feels like the character capable of carrying the weight of an entire saga. Unlike many villains, Doom is not motivated purely by destruction. He is a strategist, a ruler, a scientist, and a visionary. That complexity gives Marvel endless storytelling opportunities. If the multiverse is collapsing through incursions and instability, Doom might see chaos, not as a disaster, but as an opportunity. Rather than preventing universes from colliding, he could attempt to control the process. Rather than saving reality, he could reshape it according to his own design. That concept alone immediately raises the stakes. Suddenly, the conflict is not merely about survival. It becomes a battle over who gets to determine the future structure of existence itself, which sounds exactly like the kind of massive narrative Marvel would build toward. This is where Spider-Man potentially becomes far more important than many people expect. Ever since No Way Home, Peter Parker has occupied a unique position within MCU continuity. He experienced one of the most significant multiversal events shown on screen. He encountered variants from other realities. He witnessed fractures between universes. And perhaps most importantly, he survived those experiences while retaining a direct connection to their consequences. If Doctor Doom is studying multiversal instability, then Peter immediately becomes someone worth watching. Doom may believe Spider-Man possesses information that others overlook. He may view Peter as evidence that certain individuals can endure reality-shattering events better than expected. There is also the possibility that Doom recognizes patterns hidden beneath the surface. Maybe he sees Spider-Man not as a hero, but as a variable within a much larger equation. That would create a fascinating dynamic because Peter would have no idea that one of the most dangerous minds in existence has taken an interest in him. Suddenly, Brand New Day transforms from a personal story into the beginning of something much larger and much more dangerous. Another major reason this rumor feels believable is the timing of the Fantastic Four within Marvel's broader plans. Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four are connected so deeply in comic history that introducing one naturally raises expectations about the other. If Marvel has already established the Fantastic Four within the MCU by the time audiences see Brand New Day, then a Doom cameo becomes more than just a villain tease, it becomes a bridge. It quietly links multiple franchises together. Marvel has always been strongest when separate stories feel connected without losing their individual identities. A brief appearance by Doom could accomplish exactly that. Fans would immediately begin wondering whether Reed Richards is aware of him, whether their rivalry has already started, or whether an even bigger confrontation awaits. The beauty of this approach is that Marvel would not need to explain everything immediately. A single glimpse of Doom could ignite anticipation for future Fantastic Four stories, while simultaneously building momentum toward Avengers: Doomsday. Few characters possess the narrative flexibility to serve both purposes at once, which is exactly why Doctor Doom remains such an attractive option. Of course, there is one comic storyline that keeps appearing whenever people discuss Doom and multiversal collapse, and that storyline is Battleworld. In the comics, Doom ultimately rose to incredible power during a reality-shattering crisis and created a new world from the fragments of destroyed universes. Whether Marvel follows that exact path is impossible to know, but the similarities are difficult to ignore. The MCU has already spent years exploring alternate realities, timelines, variants, and incursions. Those concepts naturally lead toward larger questions about what happens if the entire system breaks apart. That is why fans continue connecting the dots. If Brand New Day features a post-credit scene showing Doom monitoring incursions, studying collapsing realities, or collecting information about key individuals across the multiverse, it would fit perfectly into a long-term Battleworld-style setup. Marvel would not need to reveal the destination immediately. The studio could simply establish that Doom understands the crisis better than everyone else. Sometimes the most dangerous villain is not the strongest person in the room. It is the person who sees the future before anyone else realizes what is coming. Something else worth paying attention to is the psychological impact of introducing Doom through mystery rather than action. Most superhero films reveal villains by showcasing power. Explosions happen, cities shake, heroes get defeated. But Doctor Doom works differently. His greatest weapon has always been presence. He does not need to conquer a planet in his first scene. He only needs to convince audiences that he already understands the game better than everyone around him. That is why all three rumored post-credit concepts feel effective. In each version, Doom is observing, calculating, and preparing. He is not reacting to events, he is anticipating them. That distinction matters because it immediately separates him from countless other antagonists. Viewers begin asking not what Doom is doing right now, but what he has already done behind the scenes. Has he been studying incursions for years? Does he know secrets about reality that the Avengers have not discovered? Is he several moves ahead of every hero currently operating in the MCU? Those questions create suspense, and suspense is often far more powerful than spectacle when introducing a villain of this scale. As exciting as all of this sounds, it is important to stay grounded in reality and remember where these discussions originate. At the moment, there is still no official confirmation that Doctor Doom appears in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Everything we are talking about comes from reports, rumors, insider claims, and fan speculation. That distinction matters because Marvel projects frequently change during development. Scenes can be added, scenes can be removed, entire story directions can evolve. However, speculation becomes interesting when it aligns with broader narrative logic, and that is exactly what is happening here. The idea of Marvel using a Spider-Man film to plant seeds for Avengers: Doomsday does not feel random. It feels strategically plausible. Spider-Man remains one of the MCU's most important characters. Doctor Doom is widely viewed as a leading candidate for the franchise's next major villain. The multiverse remains central to ongoing storytelling. When those pieces are placed together, it becomes easier to understand why this rumor refuses to disappear. Even people who doubt its accuracy can see why the possibility continues generating excitement across the fandom. One final angle makes this rumor especially exciting for longtime Marvel followers because it speaks to the studio's habit of rewarding patience. The biggest cinematic payoffs often begin with moments that seem small at first glance. Think about how brief references eventually grew into major storylines spanning multiple films. That is why fans are examining every possibility surrounding Brand New Day. If Marvel chooses to place Doom in a post-credit sequence, the scene would not exist merely to generate applause. It would function as a promise. It would tell audiences that larger forces are already moving behind the curtain. Even the specific dialogue imagined by fans reflects that idea. Doom does not need to announce conquest immediately. He only needs to reveal awareness. The moment viewers understand that he sees the multiverse differently from everyone else, the tension changes completely. Suddenly, every future event can be viewed through a new lens. Every incursion becomes potential ammunition. Every hero becomes a possible piece on a larger board. That perspective is exactly what makes Doctor Doom unique among comic book villains. He combines intelligence, ambition, patience, and absolute confidence. If Marvel successfully captures those qualities from the very beginning, then audiences may accept him as a saga-level threat almost instantly. That is why this rumor continues spreading across social media platforms and discussion forums every single day. Whether the reports prove accurate or not, they have already achieved one important thing. They have reignited curiosity about where the MCU goes next and reminded fans that surprises are still possible. In an era where leaks often dominate headlines before release day finally arrives for eager viewers everywhere. Right now, we are in that fascinating stage of Marvel speculation where every clue feels important and every rumor sparks a new theory. Maybe Doctor Doom appears in Brand New Day. Maybe he does not. Maybe Marvel has something completely different planned. But if even a small part of these reports turns out to be true, then audiences could witness the first official step toward the next defining MCU event. A brief cameo could become the moment fans look back on years later and realize that the entire journey started there. That possibility is what makes this story so compelling. We are not simply talking about a surprise appearance. We are talking about the potential introduction of a character capable of reshaping the future of Marvel storytelling. And if Doom finally emerges from the shadows, whether inside a laboratory, on a rooftop overlooking Spider-Man, or upon a throne in Latveria, the message will be the same. A new player has entered the board, and the MCU may never look the same again. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like, share, and subscribe for more movie news and Marvel updates.